And we are live just like that. I am so happy to be here with the one and only Emi Kirschner, who is an amazing speaker, business coach, author, woman who does all the things. And Emi masterfully combines her deep intuitive abilities with her analytical sense to help creative entrepreneurs double and triple their revenue. She is committed to impacting 1 million entrepreneurs over the next 5 years. And she teaches the leadership skills necessary to help you to confidently step into the CEO role in your business. She lives outside of Philly with her 2 teenage boys and 2 dogs, and she plans her extensive travel around the world where she can wear flip-flops. Let's talk about that. Emi, thank you so much. Thank you for being here in the middle of February when we are not wearing flip-flops, by the way.
I am. If it's above 50, I wear them outside. And there's been a couple of days where it's been like 30 something, and I live above a Whole Foods now. So I have gone to Whole Foods in my flip-flops.
I love it.
So I am. Not for very long outside, but yes.
Yeah. So the last time we were together, it was a couple weeks before Christmas. I'm so curious, what have you been up to? What's been going on in your world?
Oh my God, I feel like I'm just like recreating all this stuff in like a better way, which I guess sounds really vague, but been having a ton of fun on my podcast, The Tribe of Leaders. Had you on, which was fantastic. And then just, I love that medium because I get to meet all these really cool people. I'm trying to think. I do most of my planning in December, so I was really chill. I think I just come off my sabbatical in November, right? So I was like, yay. And now I'm having just so much fun growing my Facebook group, growing the audience in the Tribe of Leaders podcast, working with some new clients differently, getting ready to do a promo cycle for my 6-figure accelerator 90-day program. And I've got a new lead magnet that we're playing with. It's all about sales and taking the ick factor out of it, and getting ready to do my first virtual, but not live yet, 1-day event at the end of March. So all sorts of fun stuff.
So much. And I feel like to someone listening, it could feel like, oh my gosh, she has a lot going on. That is amazing. And I want to honor the fact that when we had our first conversation, you had just returned from that sabbatical where you took, I think it was a month or so
to a month off.
To just chill. And I remember you telling me that is really your secret sauce. It's taking those moments where you're slowing down that really support the speed up in life and business, which is kind of what you're in the middle of now.
Yeah.
Talk to us a bit about that.
Yeah. So let me give you a little bit of the backstory too, for everybody who's listening, of why I took a month off, because some people I'm sure are like, wow, well, I can't do that. And the reason like why it was really a requirement was because I burned myself out. And I would love to say that I just worked myself to death, but I didn't. It was really the culmination of 2 years of a lot of things happening in my life, most of which was really good. It's just still a lot. And I came to a place where I was waking up and I'm like, I have nothing left to give my people. And I don't ever want to be in that space. So, and I'm one of those people too, where like, I was very resistant to, there's no way I could be burned out because I meditate, I journal, I took time off, I have slow weekends, I do all the things that we talk about. And what I realized after taking this month off was that, and really unplugging, and I mean, I like turned all my notifications off. I deleted Facebook and Instagram off of my phone. I had my computer, but like I really used it to watch Netflix movies while I was in a hotel. And like I did no work. I did not read a business book. I did not listen to a podcast. I read fiction books. I did nothing. Like I've mastered nothing. But what came out of that experience is self-care isn't enough. All of those great habits and those practices that everybody talks about isn't enough. You have to unplug. Like you have to take time to just chill out and do nothing. And I think I had shared with you part of how I was restructuring my day and my work was I was going to chunk it down into 6-week sprints because the whole quarter planning is fantastic, but I can't work that long without the break. I'm just finishing my first 6-week sprint this Thursday night, so tomorrow night. And yeah, so my boyfriend and I are going to Cape May. We're going to just do nothing again. And it's funny because I'm already like, well, maybe I'll just do a little training that I feel like, I'm like, no, I have to honor that space because that was so crucial. And it really gave me that place to get creative and feel excited and want to be, contributing and not dragging myself to my desk because that's not fun. It's not why I started a business. Like, I started a business to make it, an impact with people that I'm working with, grow a community of excited entrepreneurs who want to be there and who are having fun. And, 90% of the stuff that I get to do on a daily basis like this, I love doing. Yeah.
So much. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for reminding us of this and giving permission. Even for me, just hearing you share that you have worked the past 6 weeks doing planning and strategizing and all of these things, and you're giving yourself the gift to go and be with your love and hit the beach. And what's so funny is I'm about to do the same. And there was a little voice in my head earlier this week that was, it was saying, but Steph, it's only been 6 weeks since the holiday break. Are you sure you shouldn't be working some more before you take another break? And I know this voice. I know it. And yet it is the hardest thing to unlearn. And so I personally feel like you just gave me permission to take that trip and love every second of it. And yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. And some of it came from me too, because I love moving fast and I have to follow my own advice in that you can't sprint a marathon and scaling your business is running a marathon. So if I do these short little sprints, then I get to have them really busy and I'm, doing all these things and I'm getting results and I'm achieving without I'm really tired now. And I just have to lay on the couch for, forever.
Yeah.
So, and it's been perfect timing because this week I'm like, yeah, I really need a break. Like it's time. So yay me. And it's been really cool to see too how over these last 6 weeks, my team and I have shifted, some of the priorities that I thought we were going to be able to get done to the second 6 weeks, and what's that, that looking like from the standpoint of different projects and the overall goals for the year. And everything feels really doable too. And I'm also setting up the first 6 weeks of every quarter to be more action oriented. And then the second 6 weeks is more, is the funnel working? Have we onboarded all the people we wanted to, and really kind of tweaking those things so that I'm not in constant creation mode too, because there's an energy and an output to that I love, but I need a break from that as well.
I want to go back to what you said, or something that you said earlier about being the person that was doing the self-care and doing all the things, or so you thought. And in a way, I think that can often lead us to think that we're immune to burnout when we are rooted in those practices, right? I know I've been there. And for me, that actually showed up. I started to have heart contractions. And I thought that I was doing all the right things. I was meditating, I was doing yoga, I was fueling my body, getting out in nature, and yet that was still happening. And the switch for me was when, and you said the same thing, and I want to go deeper into what this practice looked like for you. I truly had to fully unplug, fully. And that was so hard. I realized that until I made that clear break in the sand, I was going to continue to feel this low grade anxiety that was causing this
Mhm.
hard stuff. So for you, when you look back, and compared to how you're doing things now, is it that clean break for you? Is it being really intentional and knowing that you need to take that full out unplug, whether it's a week, whether it's a weekend?
Mhm.
What was really the point of difference for you to shift out of that?
Yeah, first of all, it took me like a good 2 weeks to really shut down. Now, some of that was the election happened, and that caused me more anxiety than I expected it to. But that doing nothing was like so critical in being able to assess where I wanted to go, as opposed to like the 42,000 ideas that I have in my head at any given moment about what we could do next. So it was that clarity that only comes from sitting on a rock and staring at the ocean for 3 hours,
Mhm.
or whatever, somebody's version of that is you like, that's when my most creative ideas come, is when I'm not having that kind of like, oh, I should go do this and I should call this and I need to add that to my to-do list, and we've got a team meeting, and is so and so performing okay, do I need to check in with them, what about this client, and taking all of that responsibility away was so freeing.
Mm. So not feeling like every nook and cranny of the day has to be stuffed tight with something, and creating the space
Yeah.
for more thinking.
Yeah.
Really?
And I want to clarify too, like I have, an evening routine. I watch TV sometimes. I do fun things, go out with my friends. So it's not like, I mean, it sounds like I'm working all the time, but for me, I have entrepreneur brain. So there's something going on in my head that at any given time, even when I'm doing fun things, that I'm like, oh, that could be really cool.
Mm.
I could be going to the art museum and see like a really cool painting that you would think isn't tied to anything that I do, but it can still spark the idea. So to really take kind of all of that stimulation away and just slow down into a place of nothingness.
Mm.
Yeah.
So shifting gears a bit, I'm curious, what is it that you're seeing and hearing in your world when it comes to online business, online coaching, business growth? What are you seeing and hearing?
Well, I think a lot of people jumped in. Either they were laid off, had a side hustle, decided to quit their day job, and make an attempt, I think, at growing a business. It'll be interesting to see over the next 18 months how many people, are able to actually do that successfully. I'm looking forward to working with some of them, obviously, because that's my area of expertise. But I think there's a shift in really seeing the value of having your own business, getting out of corporate, and particularly those businesses that are still running from more of an authoritarian model of leadership, as opposed to, and what I practice is more what I refer to as being a democratic dictator, where it's not like a top-down hierarchy. It's more everybody's in the same level playing field. It's just that, at least in my business, I still get to make the final decision most of the time. So I think that's really the biggest shift. And I hope a lot of people, as they're coming into being an online entrepreneur and entrepreneurship in general, will intentionally and consciously choose that when they're looking to bring team on.
Mm. You're having me think back to this podcast I listened to with the founder of Whole Foods on it,
Mhm.
and he was speaking to the notion of the world needing more conscious leadership. And I think that's so key, especially when it relates to hiring and expanding our teams, and really looking at how we're showing up as leaders, as coaches, and how are we doing that in a more inclusive and conscious way that the patriarchy didn't really teach us.
Yeah, I mean, it's, to me, we've been, for the last, I'm going to go with just 2,000 years at least, we've been in more of a patriarchal society, way of being across, I mean, globally. And I think we're starting to come back into center and acknowledge the female or the matriarchal or I guess a softer energy that I think it's going to help us find a lot more balance and fulfillment, because I don't want it to be, at such an extreme that we're completely in the feminine energy either, but there's a place for us all to thrive that's far more sustainable.
Yes. I was having a chat with a beautiful man just this morning, actually, and he was sharing with me that, and he's a business growth specialist. He was saying how he can Tony Robbins it up all day. He has no problem going from 0 to 10 like this. What's been interesting and what he's been playing with is more of this open arms, wanting to receive and just allow allow that delicate notion of attraction and magnetism come his way, because he's so often been programmed to be going and doing and creating and generating it. And I just thought it's really really cool to see that and hear that in our men and our women.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a time to push, right? There's a time to stretch your limits, because we do tend to play it safe. And on the other side of wherever you think your limit is really just the next level. But it's really important to also attract and to pull in. And I don't think we're doing enough of that, just in general, whether it's business or the regular, the rest of your life. Like, just allowing new experiences to come to you and accept them and enjoy them without that kind of grind mentality too.
Yeah. I would love to go deeper into this. I'm curious, how do you facilitate and navigate this with your own clients? What I know about you is that you are results driven. You help your clients create exceptional results.
Mm-hmm.
And for many of us achieving types, it can be challenging to kind of take our feet off the gas and trust more and know that what is intended will show up. So I'm curious, what does this look like when you're working with your creative entrepreneur clients?
Yeah, and I think this is where my really strong sense of intuition and that more analytical sense that I've just gifted with being able to marry together really well comes into play, because I intuitively know when to push my clients to be like, all right, you need to hit the next level. Like, we're going to get through this block you have. And then there's other times where I'm like, look, you need to take a break. Like, you've been at this for X amount of time, or, something's not working, and we've just got to let stuff happen. And, it's different for everybody, but it's been really fun for me, particularly over the last 6 months to, and one of the things I'm aware of, and you probably see this too in your coaching, is when I up level, my clients up level at the same time over and over again. So I've been up leveling, particularly since I got back from sabbatical. There's been this incredible rising with all of my clients where they're achieving even more and everything's aligning and coming together for them because they're not pushing as much. And they've let go of I just let go of this limiting belief, or I, stopped doing this marketing strategy that wasn't working, or, any number of other things. So it's really cool to see that. But it's definitely just this intuition I have of when they really need the push and when it's time to allow in.
There are so many coaches in the space now, as you know, and you are an expert and masterful at what you do. And I'm curious from your perspective, because so much of building a successful practice is being able to help your clients create big and small wins, right? And
Right.
So a lot of coaches are often asking the question, how can I be better? How can I do more to help my clients get better results? From your perspective, what comes to mind is the one or two things or areas of focus that you would recommend that coaches do work on, whether it's building a new skill or what would that look like?
Right. So I guess there's two things. One is always be working on yourself. Like I have a coach, I've had coaches, I will continue to have coaches and or mentors that are helping me up level, because even though, there's certain things that I feel like, oh, I've worked through, it all circles back around. I'm like, oh, there's another level. Great. Yay me. But that helps my people. Like, whatever I'm learning helps my people. And I think the second thing, and many of the reasons or reason why a lot of people choose to work with me, is that I hold them very accountable. So, I know what's going on in their lives. I know what we agreed to. And when they don't do it, I'm like, well, hello. And I want to know why. Like, did they get stuck? Did it get lost? And work through that, as opposed to whatever their thing is in the moment. So I'm linear, I guess, in that way, in that I don't let my clients jump all over the place, and I'm really directing them to, finish what they start, and see that progress from week to week, month to month.
Are those qualities of your coaching that have always been embodied, or are there certain things that you've developed over time?
As far as like always wanting to improve myself, I think that's just who I am. Like, that's lifelong learning journey. And it's just what I believe is going to make me the best coach. From the standpoint of accountability and having follow through and making sure that my people do follow through, that comes from an experience I had a really long time ago with one of the coaches that I worked with, where like she let me get away with not doing stuff. Whether it was making phone calls, whether it was, following up on a lead, or whatever it was that I said that I was going to do, I could hide. And that doesn't benefit me, and it doesn't benefit my clients. So my takeaway from that experience was, this is particularly because I want to be able to measure results, both from a numbers standpoint along with mindset. So it's really informed how I perform my coaching, so that, my people can look back and be like, oh, look how far I've come in 6 months. And, you held my feet to the fire when I didn't want to do X, Y, and Z.
There's so many reasons why that's helpful. What's coming to mind for me is that it can be common for us if we have a negative or an experience with a coach that doesn't meet the own expectations that we had for it, to make it mean something, right? And I think that this is a powerful distinction to know that I believe that everything is meant for us, right? And if there is a coach that we have been working with and it hasn't turned out to be what we would have hoped, I love to use that as fuel to become more of the coach that I wish I had. And that sounds like exactly what you have done with that lesson.
Yeah. At the time, I was kind of salty about it and, and frustrated. And then when I realized that the learning experience I had from it, I was like, well, thank you. Like, I'm really grateful that I had that experience, because I wouldn't be coaching as powerfully as I am today. And getting that feedback of, I've worked with all these other coaches and you're the only one who's kept me directed into where I know I need to go.
What a gift.
Yeah.
And gratitude really is everything, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I can reframe pretty much anything into gratitude.
Reframe like a badass. You know what? I think that is a success and growth mindset that you have. And that's really important. What are you most grateful for right now?
Right now, coffee. Always coffee.
What kind?
I think today I'm drinking La Colombe, which is a local Philly brand. Of course, it's a dark roast. I worked at Starbucks a gajillion years ago, and once you're on the Starbucks crack, you always drink the Starbucks crack. So that is the kind of the go-to as well. But really, I mean, outside of, something small, but still significant for me, what I'm really grateful for as well is being able to connect with you, with your community, with my people, and just being able to share stories. I'm fascinated by other people's stories. Yeah.
It is a gift that you have. I remember feeling so seen and heard by you when I joined the tribe of leaders. And you always seem to have this natural ability to just pull a story out of someone. And it's really fun to watch.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're not the first person who has said that. A couple of times recently. It's like, I haven't shared that story before. And I'm like, well, I'm so glad you did.
Mm.
Yeah.
So to that end, does that come through in the work that you do with clients as far as perhaps pulling out their story to infuse it in their marketing or their messaging or maybe their signature offer? I would think that it would.
Yeah. In fact, my one of my clients who's a realtor, and I love sharing the story because she's been over the last year and really in the first part of last year, 2020, she really got clear about her messaging and how she wanted to show up and be in the marketplace. And real estate's a competitive industry, so there's a lot of realtors in her area, and she wasn't thwarted by that at all. It was, the question she kept asking is, how do I stand out? So part of what she does is she offers a concierge service for busy professionals who are her market. And she's a Francophile, so she's tied a lot of things that she loves about Paris and France in general into her marketing. So she's attracting people who love to travel and who are more adventurous, along with being busy professionals. But had we not gone through that process of really digging into her story and what was meaningful and how she wanted to show up and, what that could look like for her on the other end, she'd be marketing like 98% of the other realtors.
I know that one thing you're really passionate about is high quality leads, how to attract them and keep them in business. And so I would imagine that through that process with this client, she was able to unlock higher quality leads as the result of owning her gifts and her story. And
Absolutely. Because first of all, she's in a complete serving leadership and serving mindset with her clients right now. So, she's coming into a high vibe, and, her mission is, obviously she wants to work with the right people, but she's just there to serve. And when you're coming into that space and that conversation, you're attracting people who are ready, willing, and want to work with you.
Is that the key to sales, do you think? Serving?
Yeah. Absolutely. And so many entrepreneurs get stuck into, I don't want to be pushy or aggressive or, the used car salesperson mindset. And I talk about this over and over because you have to let go of the attachment, one of that, and two, that, of the outcome of whether or not they work with you. Your job in sales from a serving perspective is to help somebody along in their journey and make the best decisions so that they can, and you can help them solve the problem that they're experiencing. And it doesn't matter whether it's, something small or a huge investment either. Like, it's the same thing, and I love to use the example of lip gloss because it's not a big investment monetarily speaking, but it can make you feel like $1 million and totally change how you feel and how your energy is being poured out of you.
It's so true. So true. I once had a mentor that said, it will be just the same as selling a $97 thing as selling a $9,000 thing. And when she said it, it didn't quite land at the time. I had to go through it. And when I got there, I remember thinking, she was so right.
Right. But people get all up in their head, like, I have to be this spectacular, amazing thing so that I can sell the $9,000 thing. And when it's the $9 thing, you're like, oh, well, here it is. Yeah. It's the same exact thing. It doesn't matter. It's just that you have an attachment to the money, and you're not helping anybody by being attached to the money, worrying about whether or not your bills get paid.
Totally. I had to do a lot of money mindset work to unravel that and heal it and be able to get to that next several levels for sure.
Yeah, like I love getting on sales calls. I can hardly wait. I'm like, throw it at me, baby.
Yes.
And I'm not afraid either to ask hard questions of people. Like I get their buy-in and, ask permission, but I'm really there. Like they're stuck. If they're not growing their business the way they want to, and they're feeling stressed out or, exhausted or whatever, they don't know where to go, then my job's to help them in whatever capacity. And if I don't feel like they're a good fit for me, then I'll tell them that.
I love that you said that. I think that coaches, service providers could up-level their game, not overnight, but pretty quickly if they were to focus on learning how to ask more of those hard questions and just being more present and listening a bit more deeper than they usually do. I remember, do you know Rich Litvin?
I don't.
He's a really, really cool dude.
Okay.
You have to look him up, but he created this 121 top powerful coaching questions sheet. And I just remember I wanted to be a better coach and get better and better and better. And I would pull up this sheet and just study the questions. And I did this for weeks and weeks, months and months. And it really is something incredible when you have a client on the other end that says you've asked questions that no one dared ask before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to be okay with calling people out on their shit. And some people are going to get mad and hang up on you. But I've had those same people either call me back or text me and be like, oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you feel that in order to do that for someone else, we have to be comfortable and cool with having our shit called out?
Oh, yeah, please. Like, I don't see my shit, so somebody do it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I often will say to one of my coaches, please call me out on my BS. Please. I want all that crap on the table so we can do the work and get through this stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say is the thing that you see coaches and entrepreneurs doing the most that drives you absolutely mad, and that if they were to stop doing it, it would change the game for them?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Outside of not loving sales and feeling like they have to be pushy or even asking, like a lot of entrepreneurs lose deals because they just don't even ask. Like their head game is so powerful that they've X'd themselves out of, even making the offer because they're afraid somebody's going to say no. So that would be still my top one. Quick fixes, like I made $1 gajillion in 2 seconds. It's not true. Like when you find out the backstory, they've had 2 other businesses and the third one is the one that just clicked.
Yes. Yeah. It's a long game.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody that I've met or read about, at least, has started their first business and in a month been making, 6 figures or 7 figures.
Yeah. Just going to pause on that one for a minute. What else do the people need to know about Emi and the work that you do?
Oh my goodness. I think about that too. Besides my beach loving coffee addiction and the flip flops, I'm really passionate. Like I want people to feel good. I want people to be happy. I want them to enjoy, living and experiencing and helping other people. And I'm really passionate about the ripple effect that we can all create together.
I'm so glad you said that. It has been woven throughout our conversation today. When I asked you what you're most grateful for, coffee, I mean, allowing yourself these pleasures and these joys that as women, we so often don't really allow ourselves to feel. And I just think that it's so empowering and inspiring to know that there are women and CEOs out there choosing joy and choosing pleasure and using that to design their world. There is nothing cooler or badass than that, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. No. Oh, and I love glitter. That would be my other thing. But thank you. I received that.
What do you do with this glitter?
Oh, I throw it all over the place. On stages, in my bedroom, it's tracked all over the place.
When I listened to your very first podcast episode, I remember hearing that in your intro. You say something about sprinkling the dust, the glitter. I was like, oh, I need to meet this. I need to meet this one.
Yeah, I like things that sparkle. Like there's a simplicity for me and a lot of playfulness and sometimes like ridiculously silly playfulness, but that I derive an immense amount of joy. And that's exactly what the glitter represents, is simplistic playfulness.
Mm. And, I think too, there's something really amazing in that you allow yourself to show up as the shiny, authentic version of you. And that, again, that is another just tale for all of us to be following and really connecting to and seeing that we can strip away all the life dirt and get to that shiny core and bring all of ourselves and our essence into what we're doing. And that's something you do.
That's what people are looking for. Like they want to see your vulnerability and your authenticity show up. Like I'm not interested in everybody's filter. Like that, it gets boring.
Yes. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So before we wrap things up, I would love to toss a few rapid fire questions your way if you're game.
I'm always game.
All right. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Playful, sparkalicious, and flip-flops.
If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Oh God, that's hard. I want to say the UK because I really want to go there, but it's cold. So let's go Barcelona.
The thing that annoys or bothers you the most?
I don't know. That depends on the day.
You can come back and let us know later.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. You know what? I'll tell you what it is that just popped into my head because I'm in the city now. Is people honking their horn because somebody hasn't gotten out of their way fast enough. Like that extra 3 seconds, people.
Yeah.
Patience.
Yeah. They actually they were fining for that in New York. I don't know if that's still in place, but it needs to be.
It should. Patience.
Patience. Yeah. More patience, more love.
Yeah. You're getting all stressed out over nothing.
Yeah. What about outside of your own? What is your go-to podcast?
I love, oh my God, Sky Raz's, How I Built This. There we go. I'm terrible with that. And then I listen to James Wedmore's podcast, Mind Your Business. Those are my two go-tos.
All-time favorite book?
I just said yesterday, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, because she just cracks me up. You have to listen to the Audible version now. So that's like my go-to.
Love it.
Yeah.
What are you currently learning?
I am learning right now, 2 things. One, how to grow my Facebook group a little bit faster. And then I'm reading this book called Humankind by a Danish author who I can never, ever remember his name. But it's been really cool because he's making the case for, human beings actually being nice, and that the thought and theory, I guess, that many people have had for forever, that we're all greedy, selfish bastards, is actually completely not true. And it's been like his examples and his thoughtfulness and the research has been so profound and amazing and aligned with what I already believe, that it's nice to see him starting to unravel this whole like people are mean.
What have you done that you're most proud of?
Oh, my 2 kids. Like it's so cool to see them be 20 and 22 now, that they are, basically independent. My oldest is starting his own business. My younger one is finishing up his last year for furniture making and woodworking, and that I've instilled in them an independence to, for them to go follow their own dreams and to be just really, caring, wonderful humans.
And what a cool mom they have.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your Wednesday, out of your week, to be here with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Where can the people find you? What is the best place?
Oh, come over to Facebook and join me in the Tribe of Leaders Facebook group, because that's where we're hanging out, and I'm doing weekly lives Tuesday at 5, and there's just great information and resources to help people grow their business.
And a resource you are. Emi, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And you're welcome.
All right. We'll see you soon.